106.4 million U.S. adults do not have a job right now, Michael Snyder reports. 19 months in a row, the Conference Board's index of leading economic indicators has now fallen for 19 months in a row. When something happens for 19 consecutive months, that is definitely a trend. The economy is clearly in big trouble, and conditions are getting worse with each passing day. But the mainstream media continues to insist the economy is doing just great. They tell us that inflation is low, but if it is still measured the way it was back in the 1980s, the official rate of inflation would be well into double-digit territory, and they tell us that the unemployment rate is low. But if honest numbers were being used, the official rate of unemployment would be about 25% right now. There are highly qualified people that can't even get an interview, even though they are sending out hundreds and hundreds of resumes. What are they doing wrong? Of course, the truth is that they're not doing anything wrong. The employment market is far tighter than we are being led to believe, and that is not going to change anytime soon. When a working age American is not working, the government puts that individual into one of two categories. Right now, there are only 6.5 million U.S. adults that are officially considered to be unemployed. But another 99.9 million U.S. adults are considered to be not in the labor force, so they don't count as being unemployed. When you add those two numbers together, you get a grand total of 106.4 million U.S. adults that do not have a job right now. At no point during the economic crisis of 2008 and 2009 did that number even reach 90 million. So don't let anyone convince you that unemployment is low. The elite are trying to do their best to convince us that everything is fine, but meanwhile, the Conference Board's index of leading economic indicators has now fallen for 19 months in a row. A key measure of the direction of the U.S. economy fell for the 19th straight month and once again indicated that a recession is looming. The leading economic index fell 0.8% in October, the Conference Board said Monday. The LEI is based on 10 indicators that tend to forecast the direction of the economy. Economists had expected a milder decline of 0.8%. The last time the index declined for 19 months in a row was during the Great Recession, when it fell from the end of 2007 through 2009. The last streak of this magnitude started in 2007, but we did not have a recession in 2007, and things still seemed relatively fine in early 2008 too. Of course, when we got to the end of 2008 and everything fell to pieces, that is why they are called leading economic indicators. They tell us what's coming, and what's coming in our time is not going to be fun. Needless to say, most of the population is not prepared at all for a major economic storm. Survey after survey has shown that most of the U.S. population is currently living paycheck to paycheck. The majority of U.S. adults are living paycheck to paycheck heading into this holiday season, a report shows. Lending Club's latest report shows that as of October, 60% of adults say they are living paycheck to paycheck. Around 40% of consumers consider themselves to be worse off now than they were in 2022. Even higher earners are struggling to get by, with 42% of these making six figures also living check to check under President Joe Biden. And according to a separate CNBC survey, the number of adults struggling to save between checks is up from 58% in March. As long as those paychecks keep coming in, they can keep scraping by from month to month. But now layoffs are starting to surge again all over the nation. Young Americans are in particularly dire straits. Millions upon millions of young Americans have low-paying jobs and are deeply struggling with student loan debt, as this is one of the reasons why the average age of a U.S. home buyer just keeps going higher and higher. The average American home buyer is now 49 years old, 18 years older than the 1981 figures, as inflation, college costs, and house prices make it harder for young people to get a foot on the ladder. Research by the National Association of Realtors has revealed that the median age of all home buyers has steadily crept up over the past 40 years. The most shocking contrast is, for the first time, Buyers where the median age is now 35, up from 31 in 2013 and 29 in 1981. The American dream is now out of reach for most of the nation, and that's especially true among those that are under the age of 40. But the mainstream media absolutely refuses to acknowledge the truth. They just keep telling us that things look great for the U.S. economy in 2024 and beyond. The following comes from a Yahoo Financial article entitled, "The Election Year Economy Looks Good for Biden." The much predicted recession still has not arrived. Will it materialize in 2024 at the worst possible moment for President Joe Biden as he's trying to convince voters to give him a second term? Question mark. It's not looking that way. As economists roll out their forecast for 2024, the prevailing theme is moderation, slowing but still positive economic growth, a declining rate of inflation, and continued low unemployment. Seriously? Come on, man. Do they actually expect us to consume that album? Now, we're already in an economic crisis right now, and things are going to get much worse during the years ahead. You could stick your hand in the sand and pretend that everything is okay if you want, but nothing's going to change the fact that the end game has arrived. Decades of very foolish decisions have brought us to this stage, and now we're truly going to reap what we have sown. This is by Michael Snyder, and he says about the author, "My name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled Chaos is now available in paperback and for the Kindle on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 7 other books that are available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing, and one way that you can really help is by sending copies as gifts to family and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I have also started a brand new Substack newsletter, and I encourage you to subscribe so you won't miss any of my articles. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog and of the American Dream and the most important news. And the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.